Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of September 25th to October 1st, though, and we got basically 4 stories to cover, including I want to give my thoughts on the Aulx Fallen Dynasty demo that came out, though. It was a sort of a timed demo, to be exact, though. I also want to give my thoughts on basically the announcement of 2 shows based off a video game that have been announced, though. One is Nier Onimusha, the other one is Onimusha. I do also want to give my thoughts on basically the announcement that it looks like E3 2023 is happening, and then of course there is the NPD results that came out last week, though. If you're interested in where I got the source of these informations, links will be in the description of this video if you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one is that apparently the producer of the Tactics Org Reborn game, it wasn't thinking about making the game in the HD 2D style. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware, Square Enix has really pushed that HD 2D style, and we've seen it in sort of remakes of games like Live Alive, to some original titles like, Octopath Traveler, which is getting a sequel, to Triangle Strategy, and I think a Dragon Quest game, I think Dragon Quest 3, I'm not 100% sure, is going into this style. So it's kind of interesting to see the developer of this game not want to aim for that kind of approach, but maybe they felt that wasn't the right approach for this, I think this Tactics Org Reborn game that they are working on, though. We also learned that supposedly a trademark has been filed in Korea over possibility of a new Silent Hill game. Now, whether this is a brand new Silent Hill game or trying to port over the other Silent Hill games, that remains to be seen at this time, though. No word if this is going to be coming to like the Nintendo Switch or not. Most likely the PlayStation or Xbox and PC. Who knows if this will come to the Nintendo Switch, but we'll have to wait and see, though. We also hear a report that supposedly there is a rumor going around that Disney wants to release a new Star Wars game every 6 months and all. I'm not 100% sure I would support this kind of approach or anything like that, because I'm worried that could lead to kind of a burnout-like situation, and I'm also kind of concerned if any of the Star Wars games could end up like what we saw with, Square Enix and Marvel's Avenger, where just because you have a popular brand doesn't automatically mean that game's going to be successful, and obviously Avengers did not become the success that it turned out to be. So we'll have to see if basically that happens or not. We also learned that supposedly police have arrested the person who may have hacked Rockstar to release some basically information on Grand Theft Auto 6, though, so obviously they worked very quickly on that. We also learned that the producer of Aulx Fallen Dynasty, again, we're going to be talking about a little bit later, says that there's only going to be one difficult setting, so there's not going to be any choice of difficulty like it was in Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, though. I'm not really kind of surprised by this in any way, though, because given the fact that the Neo games didn't have any difficulty, though, this doesn't really surprise me at all. Could this turn some folks off? That's a possibility. I can't rule that out or anything like that, but I'm not really bothered by this in any shape or any form. We also learned that Netflix is working to build their own Eternal game studio, though. We know that they've been pushing hard with the whole Netflix games thing and all that stuff, and I've heard some successes and some failures on it, though, so we'll see how this plays out, to be exact, though. We've seen Amazon done with their game studios, and well, let's just say it doesn't have the greatest track record, to be exact, though. We also learned that apparently the folks who are working on the Mario movie are making a Twitter account for thousands of followers before even the first trailer has came out, and I kind of wonder, is that kind of a bit of a jumping the gun a little bit on that one. So yeah, a little bit. I'm just not sure you want to do that until you haven't even released the first trailer. So we'll see how that all plays out, though. We also learned that there are rumors going around that Microsoft is talking to major Japanese publishers about acquisitions and all. So obviously, assuming this report is true, this isn't the end of Microsoft basically acquiring more studios, though. Obviously, this is going to bring up the whole Microsoft buying Sega rumor that we've heard so many times, though. But I've also could see them possibly buying the studio by, I think the developer's name is Ichigara. I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly. He was the who helped create the Dead or Alive series and the Ninja Gaiden series, to be exact, though. So I've heard stories of how he's expressed interest of Microsoft buying. He wouldn't mind being bought by Microsoft, and also we'll see how this plays out. Okay, that's just my cat jumping aboard the computer, though. Even if this does happen, though, most likely it's probably going to be maybe until long after the whole Microsoft acquisition Blizzard situation is settled down, because right now they're trying to get through that kind of situation and all. We also learned about basically EA and Omega Force and Koei Tecmo teaming up, releasing a trailer for their game Wild Hearts, which, according to what they've shown so far, seems to be their take on the Monster Hunter genre, that kind of approach. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. Might be good, it might be bad, but we'll have to wait and see. Excuse me. We also learned that supposedly a fan who used Super Mario Maker 2, who worked on it, worked on a 7-year project creating what essentially would be Super Mario Brothers 5, though. So I mean, again, I'm not big on the whole create your own levels in Super Mario Maker. I think it's a good idea. It's just that I never really got into that kind of stuff. I've always not the most. I'm not a creative person or anything like that. But it certainly was a nice thing. Apologize. My cat is basically walking around on my computer and all. Sorry about that. We also learned that Google is basically shutting down Stadia and all. And honestly, this isn't really shocking considering how Google has handled the situation with Stadia, though. I mean, when you look back at it, they had a window of opportunity when people had to stay at home because of COVID and all. And unfortunately, it felt like looking back at it now that they were the ones that wanted to be the first one out of the gate, but they really didn't do a lot to convince people why they should pick up Stadia and all. And then when you started to hear them turn it into a white label product and basically shut down their first party studios, that kind of was a signal of, looking back at it, sort of the beginning of the end for Stadia. So yeah, I don't think a lot of us are shocked to see this happen to them. It's unfortunate, but it is not surprising. Another thing to add to the Google graveyard. We also learned that a Nintendo tester has basically spoken out about being fired from Nintendo over basically, supposedly the story goes that he asked a question about unions in the gaming industry and all that stuff. But Nintendo's claim is that he violated a certain rule at Nintendo and all. So it's a very tricky subject on this situation, though. We'll have to see how this all plays out, though. But I will say, if this is true that they fired him over him asking a question about unions, and yeah, I'm sorry, Nintendo should face the consequences of their action. That's inexcusable in every single way possible, though. Now, in the movie side of some of the stuff, though, we basically, or movie, TV shows, or anything like that, we learned that basically Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, or Black Panther 2, supposedly will be the longest non-Avenger movie, and reports have posted it towards like around 2 hours, and that's almost as close to what we saw with the Eternals and all that stuff. So we'll have to see how that one turns out and all. We also learned that basically Deadpool 3 is actually happening, and the thing is Hugh Jackman will return to play as Wolverine and all. Ryan Reynolds did a teaser trailer on that. I am very curious to see how this all plays out and all. And last but not least, HBO Max dropped their first teaser trailer on their adaptation of Sony's and Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, though. And based on what they showed so far, it looks kind of interesting, though, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. I don't have HBO Max, but I might consider getting HBO Max to watch this and all. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with August 2022's NPD. Now, they released the numbers last week, though. I didn't get a chance to touch on them, and judging by what they showed off during their showing and all that, it didn't seem to really, some games they announced didn't really surprise a lot of folks to, it's football season, so one certain game, I'm not surprised, got the number one spot, though. In terms of the top 20 games of August 2022, they have Madden NFL 23 at number 1, Saints Row Reboot at number 2, Marvel Spider-Man at number 3, Elden Ring at number 4, Multiverse at number 5, Mario Kart 8 at number 6, Minecraft at number 7, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 8, MLB The Show at number 9, Xenoblade Chronicles at number 10, Digimon Survive at number 11, Horizon Forbidden West at number 12, we have Call of Duty Vanguard at number 13, Far Cry 6 at number 14, Soul Hackers 2 at number 15, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 16, Gran Turismo 7 at number 17, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 18, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim at number 19. I obviously had to do with that anniversary edition, I think, from what I understand, and Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 20, though. And they mentioned how Madden NFL 23 has been doing very well, along with the release of Spider-Man on PC is what maybe put the game back on the top 20 for that list, though. Obviously, that and with Miles Morales coming to the PC, though, it's only a matter of time before Spider-Man 2 comes to the PC as well. In terms of the best-selling games of 2022 so far, we have Elden Ring at number 1, Legos Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 2, Pokemon Legend Arceus at number 3, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 4, Madden NFL 23 at number 5, MLB The Show at number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 7, Gran Turismo 7 at number 8, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 9, Mario Kart 8 at number 10, Minecraft at number 11, Madden NFL 22 at number 12, Nintendo Switch Sports at number 13, FIFA 22 at number 14, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 15, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 16, Monster Hunter Rise at number 17, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 18, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 19, and Mario Party Superstar at number 20. In terms of the 10 best-selling games over the last 12 months, we have Elden Ring at number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 2, Madden NFL 22 at number 3, Legos The Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 4, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl at number 5, Battlefield 2042 at number 6, Far Cry 6 at number 7, FIFA 22 at number 8, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 9, and Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 10. In terms of the top 10 games on the Nintendo system, aka the Nintendo Switch, we have Mario Kart 8 at number 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at number 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 4, Pokemon Legends Arceus at number 5, Animal Crossing New Horizon at number 6, Nintendo Switch Sports at number 7, Digimon Survive at number 8, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 9, and Minecraft at number 10. Over on the PlayStation side, we have Madden NFL 23 at number 1, Saints Row 2022 at number 2, Horizon 2 Forbidden West at number 3, MLB The Show at number 4, Gran Turismo 7 at number 5, Elden Ring at number 6, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 7, Minecraft at number 8, and Call of Duty Vanguard at number 9, and Soul Hackers 2 at number 10. Over on the Xbox side of things, we have Madden NFL 23 at number 1, Saints Row the reboot at number 2, Far Cry 6 at number 3, Elden Rings at number 4, Multiverse at number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard at number 6, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 7, Forza Horizon 5 at number 8, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 at number 9, and Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at number 10. So when you take a look at it, the takeaway from this is the fact that obviously Elden Rings and Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is still hanging on there. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is still hanging on, but has sort of dipped from where it was last month. Obviously, since this is the start of football season, it's not surprising to see Madden NFL 23 make its way up there, even though not everybody is a fan of the Madden series. It's a casual game. It still sells very well. And the Saints Row reboot, not bad at number 2, although supposedly, from what I've been hearing, THQ Nordic is not happy with sort of the expectations they were setting with that game and all. So we'll have to see how well it does probably next month to see what September's NPD turns out for Saints Row reboots and all. But overall, though, I would say there wasn't really anything, I wouldn't say anything huge or anything surprising compared to last month, where some people were wondering where was Xenoblade Chronicles 3 going to fit in and all. So we really didn't see anything huge. So Madden, I would say not surprising because, we are starting the football season and all to be exact. So I won't say nothing huge with this August 2022's NPD though. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with E3 2023. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at E3 2023. Now, obviously, it's been tough for E3 though. Before COVID happened though, a lot of people were wondering, do we really need E3 and all that stuff? And many people have not been happy with some of the directions that they were going though. Then obviously COVID happened, and that kind of pretty much shut down E3 for 2020 though. They tried to come back in 2021 doing like an all digital event. That kind of got mixed response. And then this year they weren't able to do it though. Now, obviously, we're expecting that E3 2023 will be happening and all. And we definitely got some details, at least reports coming out of exactly what kind of direction they are aiming for in terms of how they're going to do E3 next year. From several parts on it from GameIndustry.biz, here's what they had to say about it though. Quote, the E3 physical event will take place Tuesday, June 13th to Friday, June 16th at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It's a business and consumer show. The first 2 days are only for business. The third day is a business consumer day, while the fourth day is purely for consumers. The team has set up quite a few lofty goals with E3, as you may remember, but the 3 core goals are: make a better business event where it's easier to connect, meet, and conduct interviews. Make a better consumer experience where there are things for fans to actually do. Partner, support, and be friends with everyone announcing games in and around E3, irrespective of whether they're actually in the convention center though. They point out that one half of the LA Convention Center will be entirely dedicated to business, featuring quiet, more comfortable booths with areas to connect and networks and to grab a coffee. The hope is to reopen the KENT TIA Hall, and again, this will be exclusive for business attendees. The other half will be the spectacular E3 that you're used to, and for the first 2 days, this will also be for business attendees only. On top of that, there will be new dedicated meeting spaces where attendees can connect using the E3 app and hold meetings. Of course, you can still pop over to the Marriott and catch up there, but you don't have to. And finally, and they point out this is where GameIndustry.biz comes in, business folks will receive data, insight, interview, and an analysis directed to their inbox and in print before and after and during the show. So could this new approach basically work though? It's a possibility though. It's a little bit too early to tell whether this new approach will work or not, but I am kind of curious to see how this will all play out though. And it'll be interesting to see if a lot of the big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, will have some kind of E3 presentation though. In the last couple of years, Nintendo has focused more on just doing a digital only presentation and all. They have been at E3, but have been mostly digital, not the press conference kind of approach though. Sony has sort of skipped out on some of the last few E3s, and Microsoft again has somewhat done like their own thing. So I'm kind of curious to see if this new direction or new approach will help out or not. So we'll have to find out next year to see how this is all going to play out. I am kind of curious to see how it does work though. So, but time will ultimately tell. So overall, very interesting to see the direction they're going with this though. Whether this works or not, that remains to be seen, but we'll find out next year and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with the announcement of 2 new video game shows, one being done by Netflix and one isn't, Onimusha and Nier Automata. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one we're going to be taking a look at several new shows based off of several video game properties, or at least 2 to be exact, that were recently announced this week. Now, when it comes to movies or TV shows based off of video games though, it has a history of being mostly a miss. Some may point to, like Street Fighter, to like the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, not the one that Illumination and Nintendo are working on, but there have been some successes we've been seeing over the years though. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie from Paramount and Sega has done very well at the box office though. We've seen, The Witcher do very well, Castlevania, Cyberpunk Edge Runner has recently done very well, but we've also seen some that have gotten mixed response and haven't gotten the positive reception some may have said, like Dragon Dogma, to the live-action Resident Evil, to even the Halo series from Paramount Plus. Well, now apparently this week we saw 2 announcements though, 2 to be exact. That is, one going to be based off of Nier Automata, and the other one's going to be based off of Capcom's Onimusha franchise. The first one from Destructoid, talking about the Nier Automata one, it reads that it will arrive next January though. They're saying January 2023, and they also mentioned that they showed up 2 clips, one with 9S and 2B. They also talked about basically that, and this is what I think one of the quotes from the creator said, that, quote, "In the title, Nier Automata was a story we created to be a game, so copying it wouldn't make it an interesting story for anime." So basically they're saying, if I'm reading this correctly though, that don't expect it to follow exactly how the video game is going to be. There may be some difference here and there, which really shouldn't be that surprising to be exact though. So we'll see what kind of changes they make for that one when that one comes out around in January 2023. Meanwhile, it's been announced, at least from IGN, that they are going to be doing a anime based off the Netflix series, though. According to this article from IGN, it reads that Netflix has announced and revealed 5 images for an Onimusha anime based on the hit Capcom game series. Revealed in a tweet from Netflix Anime, the still shows a handful of characters against Japan's Edo, if I'm saying it incorrectly. The animation is being created with 3D CGI characters and hand-drawn background, and the series promises to give new life to the classic game series. No release date was announced, but Netflix did reveal the team behind Onimusha Anime. The project is being held, or likely the folks who had handled the Dragon Dogma anime in 2020. They also released some of the plot, though. A short plot reads that, quote, it says, quote, the beginning of the Edo, if I say the name correctly, period, Musaka, M-U-S-A-S-H-I, is no longer a young man. He departs with the legendary Oni Gauntlet to defeat the Gemma. I would say between the two, though, I would say I have a bit more confidence in the Nier Automata one over the Onimusha, to be exact. Now, I'm not saying I want the Onimusha one to fail or anything like that. I do hope that it does become a success, though, but hearing the fact that it was being handled by the folks or someone in the studio that handled the Dragon Dogma one doesn't really give me a whole lot of confidence, to be exact, though. That one got very much a mixed response. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly great either. And Netflix, in terms of video game adaptations, they've been sort of a hit and miss. Yes, they've knocked it out of the park with stuff like The Witcher, Castlevania, and Cyberpunk Edge Runner, but they kind of stumble out on the gate with the live-action Resident Evil, not the Resident Evil Infinity, or I think like Infinity Darkness. I think that one's better than the live-action one, to basically, the Dragon Dogma, to be exact. So, I mean, it could be good. It could bring more interest into the Onimusha franchise and might, convince Capcom to either release the other Onimusha games onto multiple systems, including the Nintendo Switch, to maybe a brand new Onimusha game. I mean, the closest thing to an Onimusha game right now is Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja's Neo and all. So, I mean, it's possible, but I have to say between the two, I just feel like Nier Automata has the better chance to succeed than the Onimusha one. But I will give the Onimusha team the benefit of the doubt. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. It might be good, it might be bad, but time will ultimately tell on that one. So overall, I would say 2 interesting announcements for some shows, though. But like I said, between the two, I have to say I have more faith in the Nier Automata one than I do for the Netflix's Onimusha, but right now I won't completely write that show off or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our 4th and final part, and this one's going to be my thoughts on the Wulong Fallen Dynasty demo that I tried out for the Xbox Series S. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our 4th and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, I want to give my thoughts on the Koei Tecmo Team Ninja's upcoming game, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, which is coming out to multiple platforms: Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and I also believe PC as well. But I did get the chance to try the game out on the Xbox Series S, though, and for most part, most of the games we've seen from Team Ninja lately has been more closer to kind of the Souls-like game. It started off with 2017's Neo, and it continued on with games like Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, which is out now, and now they're upcoming with their new game, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, which will be out in January, and we know that this game will be coming day one on Game Pass. This is supposedly their next release before their upcoming PS5 exclusive Rise of the Roland, though. And so I got a chance to try out what's basically a timed demo that they allowed us to download, though. And I will say, based on my time with it, it feels almost like if Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja pretty much did like a Neo 3 and all. So basically, the setting basically goes from the Japanese, like medieval or Japanese setting to sort of the romance of the Three Kings setting. The one that Koei Tecmo and Omega Force uses a lot in their Dynasty Warriors games, though. But the gameplay and mechanics are going to feel very similar to what Neo 1 and Neo 2 are. But there are some couple of differences, though. One, I did not notice or see anything like a stamina meter like there was in Neo 1 and Neo 2. Instead, you have sort of like a moral ranking, though. And that you'll see this in not only with your character but also basically the enemies as well. So like, for example, if you have a moral of like level 5 and you see a enemy maybe up like say like a level 10 or something, you might want to consider rethinking taking on that enemy for the time being until you get your moral ranking up, though. Even if you upgrade your character with a better weapon, there's a good chance that enemy might basically kick your butt or anything like that. So you might want to consider not taking on that enemy at that time, though. And combat is a little bit different. It's not exactly 100% the same way that Neo is or anything like that. And when you die, obviously you go back to like either like the last point or save point in the game, and your morals kind of goes down, though. However, if you plant what are basically essentially like battle flags over the place, though, depending on what kind of moral you're at, though, it won't go down that far, though. So there is somewhat of a silver lining with it, though. Another thing I have noticed in Wulong Fallen Dynasty is that it kind of takes a little bit of a page somewhat out of Elden Rings, though. I won't go as far as saying it's full-on Elden Rings like an open world type of approach, but there are certainly some noticeable things. One, depending on how close you get to the enemy, you can perform like what essentially is sort of a backstab and all. So it's kind of like, and depending on what their moral is, you could take them out like with one hit and all that stuff, or at the very least do a good amount of damage, though. If you do sort of like a backstab, though, your moral might go up a little bit, though, a little bit more than you would if you were to fight the enemies in general, though. And another thing I noticed is that there is now a jump button in the game, though, which it comes in handy, especially when you're trying to travel across, parts of the level and all that stuff, as some areas are only accessible, like jumping up to this cliff or anything like that. And you'll notice exactly which cliff you could go up based on, sort of like the white painting and everything like that. In terms of the combat, though, like I mentioned, there's no stamina meter, so you don't have to worry about your stamina meter running out. But I also noticed at the same time, I wouldn't go as far as calling it a full-on hack and slash, though. Your enemies, you could hit your enemies as much as you want, but there is a certain point when your combo comes to an end, and that can leave you open for the enemy to do damage to you as well. They have their own set of combos as well, though, so you sort of have to keep an eye on it, even though you don't have like a stamina meter or anything like that. From a visual standpoint, though, it doesn't look necessarily bad or anything like that, even on the Xbox Series S, though. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's the prettiest looking game, though. I do wonder how it will look like on the Series X and the PS5 and PS4, though. Another thing I noticed with the demo is that there is no graphical options or anything like that. So I don't know if that's going to be different once the final version comes out and all. So it's going to be sort of interesting, because the original Neo that came out back on the PS4 did offer the option to play in the game in movie mode or action mode. Movie mode being at 1080p at 30 frames per second, action mode being at 720p at 60 frames per second. So no word if that feature is going to be in Wulong Fallen Dynasty and all. But I will say, based on my time with the game, though, I enjoyed what I've seen so far. And like I said, this is probably the closest thing we're going to get to a Neo 3 or anything like that. Or for those who game only on Xbox or anything like that, it's worth pointing out this is probably the closest thing you'll get to a Neo game. And that's definitely not a bad thing. It's very interesting that they're using the Romance of the Three Kingdom, or the Imperial China setting, and while there are certainly Chinese mythical creatures and somewhat of a Living Dead, don't expect to get that kind of, at least from what I sense though, I don't expect to get that Onimusha vibe like you did with Neo 1 or in Neo 2 though. So overall, I would say my time with the demo has been good though. Again, if you're curious about seeing me playing the demo, links will be in the description though. And I will say, this is one of the games I'm definitely looking forward to coming January 2023, barring any major delays or anything like that. And hearing that this one's going to be day one on Game Pass, that certainly is a plus. So I am definitely looking forward to trying out Aulx Following Dynasty when it comes to Game Pass, and especially trying it out on my Xbox Series S though. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the NPD charts for August 2022? Do you think there were anything surprising? Do you think there were really nothing surprising at all? Are you shocked to see Madden NFL 23 making it onto the top? Or you aren't really that shocked considering this is the start of we're in football season and all? What are your thoughts about this new approach for E3 2023 next year, though? Do you think this is a smart move for what they are doing with E3, though? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think this is not going to work at all? What are your thoughts about the announcement of Nier Onimusha and Onimusha getting their own TV shows? Are you happy for any of these shows to be exact? Do you think both of them are going to be a success? Do you think one will be a success and one will be a failure? Or do you think both are going to be a failure and all? And what are your thoughts about the Aulx Following Dynasty, though? Did you try the demo out as well? If so, which system did you try it out on, though? Do you believe that this is probably the closest thing we're going to get to a Neo 3, though? Has it basically encouraged you to consider getting the game, or are you considering not getting the game at all? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.